Now welcome back to my clip review. Today we're going to compare the Boston 360 resolution clip, which now this is my third comparison of clips we can call the champion clip, compared to the challenger, the Viper clip, which you may be forgiven for not having heard about. They're not made by any of the big kind of manufacturers that you might have heard of. Instead, is some holding company in Shanghai and a factory in Hangzhou, Zhejiang in China that makes them. They're actually distributed, as you see from the brochure here, by a British company called Dagmed. That's where we get them from. And but actually they're Chinese. Anyway, most of the clips are probably made in China anyway. So as you know, clips, I'm a firm believer in clips. I believe that we should put more clips on. I believe, well, it's undoubted now that putting clips on the cut peduncle or an EMR defect reduces the risk of late bleeding afterwards. And furthermore, if you think that defect looks a little bit on the deep side, for goodness sake, or you put a lot of heat on removing the colonic mucosa or esophageal mucosa when you remove the polyp, and for goodness sake, put some clips on to reduce the risk of problems afterwards. It might not be cost effective because problems are rare, but when they happen, they can be catastrophic. We might think, well, coming into hospital, needing a blood transfusion is no big deal, but to the patient, it is a big deal. They'll remember that for the rest of their lives. Now, the 6 bouts, if you like my boxing analogy, that we're going to go through is the same as before: jaw strength, control and maneuverability, dimensions of the clip. We want the bigger, we want short tails and big gaps of the clips. Thank you very much, manufacturer. We want a low drag as we go down the channel. We want a good grip, and we want the cheapest. We want the clips to be cheapest chips. So there you have it. It's quite easy to make the perfect clip. That's the recipe you should follow. Anyway, round 1, jaw strength. Comparing the jaw strength, you want a strong jaw, by the way, so you can scoop up one end of the mucosal defect, hoist it across, and close the other jaw on the other side. There's a technique in there, by the way. With the open and closable clips, you can close, of course, hold on to one side of the EMR defect, and then kind of pull it across, open your clip, and kind of attach it to the other side, so you can kind of get a complete mucosal closure, unless it's a huge defect, of course, then you can't clearly. So we want clips with a stiff arm, stiff jaws, basically, and both these clips score the same. They both basically take 0.38 newtons to deform the jaws on both of them. So round 1 is a draw. Round 2, control and maneuverability. So it's difficult to beat the 360 clip because it's designed for control and maneuverability. And to remind you, the way I do it is I take an endoscope, put the clip down it. I put the tip on the maximum bend like this, big wheel back, and then torturing the clip, I put the little wheel forward to kind of create that. Both clips can still do it at this point. Then I put a twist on it, and this is where you begin to lose the Viper clips. Now it's struggling to rotate. You start to get kind of a jerking, fast twitching, where it kind of comes back to the same place again, so you lost the fine maneuverability. By the way, don't shout at your assistant if this happens. If you start to get that kind of quick jerking where the ass goes and then stops at the same place as it started, then what you should tell your assistant to do is twist the other way. Then you regain a little bit of fine control. You'll find it's not his or her fault that it goes like this. It's just the controllability of the clip. But this round is resoundingly won by the 360 clip. Even when I put 2 twists on the shaft of the scope like this, it can still have control at the end of the clip. You can rotate it and open and close it. So that round goes to Boston. Now round 3, drag. Of course you want to have as little a drag down the scope as possible, so there's as little resistance as you put the clip down in an awkward position, maybe retroverted in the cecum, maybe down a duodenoscope or something. You want the slide down as beautifully as possible. I measure this by measuring how hard I need to pull to get the clip down, or kind of pulled out rather from the end of an endoscope. Now this round is actually won by the Viper clip. The resistance I measured with the Viper clip is 1.1 Newton compared to 1.6 Newton with the resolution 360 clip. And I guess you can feel that the resolution 360 is a little bit thicker, and it has to be thicker to count because the way it works is by twisting the outer sheet. You get rotation at the end of the clip, whilst with the normal clip you will twist the handle that will rotate a little wire inside it, the wire that is used to kind of close the clip, that rotates and imparts the twisting motion at the end. That's why you can sometimes see when you twist the handle that the jaws begin to close, because you're basically, as you're tightening the wire in the center, you're of course shortening it as well. So that's why you can get a bit of kind of closing of the jaws, which is annoying, of course. So drag is, I admit this is a somewhat light round, but it's won by Viper nevertheless. Now round 4, dimensions, very similar. These both clips opened about 11 millimeters when they're fully open. Now once you deploy them though, the tail of the Viper clip is marginally shorter than the tail of the Boston clip. The tail of the Viper clip I measured at 14.6 millimeter from the tip of the jaw to the tip of the tail, whilst the Boston clip was 16 millimeter from tip to toe, so to speak. So this round, dimensions is marginally won by the slightly shorter Viper clip. Now grip. The way I measure grip, by the way, is by, I've got a theatre gown which is a bit slippery, and I basically put a clip on the theatre gown and pulling it to measure, and then measuring how hard I need to pull the clip off the theatre gown. The Boston clip is strong, and I have to pull with a force of 11.7 newtons to pull it off the theatre gown. But the Viper clip is almost as strong. I was surprised there. Yeah, I have to pull with a force of 10.5 newton to get the Viper clip to come off. It's almost as strong as the Boston 360. I think it's a draw. Now round 6, price. Of course, a word of caution here, because the price is applicable to us in Leeds. The price may vary around the world. It might vary depending on how many clips you're expecting to use in a year, what other equipment from the manufacturer you're using, because quite often products are bundled together, so you get an overall price for having some clips and biopsy forceps and snare and things kind of put in together as a bulk order. So the price might not be applicable to your particular unit. Nevertheless, in Leeds, for a Boston clip we currently pay £50, but for a Viper clip we pay 32. This round is won resoundly by Viper, much cheaper, and we want them to be cheap. We want to use more of these clips, and we will only achieve that if they're much cheaper. You don't want anyone anywhere in the world to hold back thinking, oh, I can't put a clip there because the patient can't afford it. You know, that shouldn't be what we should be able to do the right thing regardless of the price. Easier to say for someone in the West like me, of course, but I believe that's the case. So the final scores are in, and in this table you see that I've reordered the different rounds depending on how important I think they are. First you got grip. I want a clip that stays on strongly and doesn't fall off, because it's when they fall off we get the late bleeding or the delayed perforation, what have you. So you want strong clips, and the first that round was a draw, remember. Control, that the twistability, the opening and closing in any awkward position, that round is won by the 360 resolution. It's made for control, that clip. Price resoundingly won by Viper. You can argue, look, the Boston clip is great maneuverability, but I can get almost two Vipers. Well, put it this way, I put two Boston clips down, I can put 3 Viper clips down for the same price. What would you rather do? I'd rather put 3 clips down. Dimensions, jaw strength, drag, light things, I admit, are all the Viper clips are doing a great job there. The jaw strength was the same, remember, between the Viper and the Resolution 360. So looking at this table, I think that you agree that it's the Viper that wins. However, if the Boston clip was the same price as the Viper, then I'll be trading control, the superior control of the Boston clip, with the slightly better dimensions and the slightly better drag with the Viper clip. If that was the case, I'd rather go for control. So if everything else was the same, if the price was the same, I would then have chosen the Boston clip. But sadly, it isn't. And you know, the Boston clip is a piece of beauty. Just look at the kind of the woven silvery metal. I don't know if they can make it any cheaper. That's my point. But if they could, I will start using it. But at the moment, it's the Viper that wins. Thank you very much.